Welcome everybody to the LevelUp Lifestyle podcast, where we promote self-responsibility, championship mindset, contributing to others, getting ahead in life, and never playing the victim. On this podcast, we do not blame others. We are here to get to the highest levels possible by taking charge of our lives. It is our duty, obligation, and responsibility to take care of our families, our future families, and ourselves. If that's you, welcome to the podcast. Let's get this episode started. How about those goals? Who's still attacking their goals so far? And whose mind is pulling you back towards the version of you that you said you were going to level up out of? Last week, I was following up with some people. I got a lot of texts back, but one in particular said something along the lines of, "I'm not going to lie, Joe, it's been tough and I'm frustrated." How many of you can relate to this so far this year? You started hot, you've got your goals, you have your action plans, and maybe things aren't perfectly on par at this point and you're a little frustrated. I can relate with this. There's nothing wrong with it. Something that I have going on is last week, the day after I announced the 4x4x48 run that I'll be doing, I injured my calf, and literally I have not been able to train and put in the miles this week that I absolutely felt like I had to do. So the 4x4x48 is where you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, which ends up equaling 48 miles in 48 hours. So my plan at this point this week is I need to be doing 8 miles, 4 miles twice a day, every single day. And at this point, I've done 0. Okay, so I can relate with having some goals and being frustrated that I'm not on track for those action plans that I had in place to get ready. And let me be clear about this. I'm not a runner, okay? People hear me say that and they really don't understand. Okay, I am not built like a runner. I'm not lightweight like an ultra runner. Ultra runners are not in my genealogy. I don't come from a family of runners. And basically, I have no business really doing races like these. So for me, and anyone who's doing a race like a 4x4x48 or an ultra run, but even more for me, training is critical. So yeah, I'm frustrated that I'm not training right now, and I can relate. When things don't go as planned, there can be frustration. So what do you do with that frustration is the question. How can I get ahead with it? Well, up to last week, I didn't know exactly how I was going to prepare for this run, which takes place on March 8th, or at least that's when it starts. So it goes for 2 days. So in my couple of days that I've had off recently, I sat back and I've made my plan on what I'm going to do for my training, for my regimen, my sleeping and all that. And I'm eager this week to execute on it and to get back to it. And when, not if, but when I wake up too early and it's time to stick with my plan, I'll bring back that feeling of frustration of when I couldn't train. And I'll tell myself, just get up and go, motherfucker. A week ago, you legit couldn't train and now you feel better, but you want to not do it by choice? I don't think so. That is literally how I will talk to myself in those moments where I don't want to get up and go. I'll go back to this week's frustrations and remind myself what it felt like when I couldn't get up and go do the training I needed to, and use that frustration to fuel me past the you don't want to get up right now moment. I'll use this week's frustrations of not being able to fuel tomorrow's efforts at a higher level. And I want to share a story here where I'll never forget this. It was a road trip I did in Arkansas. I was training someone. His name was Ryan, and I had signed like one deal in 3 days or something. And I was pissed. Like, this is the worst I ever did. To this day, this was the worst 3-day span I ever had. And I remember that third evening in a row with poor production, I was pissed. I was telling Ryan, dude, this is not how I roll. This is not what this business is about. We are not going to continue this another day. Like, this is bullshit. This has got to end. And I was just so tired of people's excuses. Like, I'm doing door-to-door sales. I'm walking out, listening to people's excuses why they can't do something today, even though they like the program. And I was just tired of allowing myself to be sold instead of me doing the selling, basically. And I was just pissed because I've always produced. If you don't know me in my sales world, I never, ever, ever get 0 deal days. Like, that doesn't happen, especially a couple in a row, especially when I'm out showing somebody how to do this. So that's where that frustration stemmed up with. So that night, I remember, I said, Ryan, get in the car, and I drove the entire night. I completely went to a different area, threw on an audiobook, and changed what I did have control of. The next day, I remember I just wasn't going to let people sell me on why they couldn't do it anymore. I was done with it. I was going to get a yes or a fuck you, leave my business before I left, instead of letting people BS me into leaving and thinking that maybe they were interested and to follow up. Now, obviously, I wasn't so frustrated that I was being a jerk with customers and demanding they make decisions. Obviously, nobody would sign up with a jerk. That's not going to work. But the point I'm making is I used the frustration and the anger of the lack of results and let it fuel me to level up my own game in terms of my sales game. To stop allowing myself, not the customers, but myself, to push it to the finish line or walk away with nothing. Either way, the result was going to be so clear that I could move on to the next potential merchant now, not wondering if they'd sign up later. I was done playing the follow-up game, and it was time for people to make decisions, and I put myself in a position to have to get one out of them and not leave without a yes or a get out. And guess what? That next day, we closed 7 deals, and we finished the week extremely strong. So my lesson here is life's frustrations can be the greatest fuel if you know how to convert it. It's kind of like biofuel. What biofuel is it's made up of like old restaurant grease and crap at a fast food restaurant, if you can imagine, that normally would just be thrown away and disposed of. But with the proper know-how and equipment, it can actually be used and converted into biofuel like diesel and be used for energy. The same grease that any normal person would dispose of and throw away, something that we think is useless, like frustrations, can be converted into fuel and energy. Have you ever seen Tom Brady miss a throw or give away an interception that was just an absolutely stupid pass? Is he happy about it? No. He's pissed. But he uses it in a way to get back on the field and dice his opponents apart on the next drive typically. The frustration doesn't cripple him, it strengthens him. And that's what I'm talking about here. So don't disregard your frustration. Don't bury them, and definitely don't let them get you off track. Use them as fuel. Learn how to convert them. Stop having a fucking pity party with yourself and letting frustrations have negative effects on you, and instead get ahead because of them. This is the way of winning. This is the way of champions. And this is the way that you will push yourself to the next level and grow. So if at this point you're on track with this year's goals, then bravo. Keep freaking going and use that momentum. Keep propelling forward until this lesson is applicable to you. And if you are frustrated because you feel a little behind on this year's goals, then get over it. Convert that frustration or whatever negative feelings you're buying into and fuel and stick with your action plans. Fuel the action plans with the frustration. Don't back off of them. If you're upset about something, go pump some iron. Go run 5 miles. Go do something with it. Game plan and map out a business plan. Create new content ideas, new marketing, something productive. Create that into fuel and do something productive with it. And one of the best parts about doing things when you have a little bit of frustration on your side, again, we're talking about a healthy frustration, not a destructive frustration. But when you have a healthy frustration on your side, you don't really care about what others think. Think about that. You can be clear-headed on strategies and things that you want to do and game plans because you're more in the if they don't like it, too bad state of mind. And if you're the kind of person that has a hard time getting into that state of mind and you're worrying about what others think, then when you're in a state of healthy frustration, you're naturally like making decisions based on what you know you need to do, not what you think others are going to care about or others' opinions about what you're doing. You're going to make decisions based on, I don't freaking care what others think. I'm in a healthy state of frustration. Now is a good time to actually execute on my strategies and game plan and make adjustments because I am not going to include what others feel in those plans. It is a great time to put things on paper and adjust your action plans accordingly. So we've discussed this on other episodes and we're going to keep saying it. Your mind is going to find reasons to go backwards. If you're frustrated at this point of the month, at this point of the new year, and you're thinking or your mind is talking about going backwards, don't listen to it. It wants you to take the easy route. Fuck that. The easy route isn't what you want. If it was, you wouldn't be making bigger goals. So don't listen to it. You literally wouldn't have bigger goals for this year if where you were at was where you really want to be in life, if you're honest. Your mind is going to lie and say things weren't that bad back there. But you know you set these new goals because you want to get to the next level. Don't listen to your mind. Your mind is a liar. It's lying. Every time it tells you to settle, or maybe you don't want your goals, or reminds you it's too hard and why put in that kind of hard effort. All of that crap. It's lying. You know what you want. Don't bend for anything, especially your own mind. Raise your bar and find the fuel inside your own frustrations. And if you learn how to convert healthy frustrations and disappointments into this kind of fuel and into this kind of energy, then you will always propel forward. Even your lowest points where you have frustrations are points of growth, of game planning, of building up energy that you're going to use for your next push into momentum. Get out there, make things happen. Don't listen to your mind. See you at the top. Talk to you on the next episode. All right, thank you everybody for listening to another episode of the LevelUp Lifestyle podcast. We've been talking about promoting these events that we have coming up. We are raising funds to put more kids into youth sports whose families can't afford to get them into it. We believe that youth sports are teaching the next generation a lot of the things that need to be passed on, such as self-responsibility, know we before me, hard work, you get what you earn, how to get along with others, how to respect mentors and coaches and people and your elders, and a lot of those kind of things. So if you want to support some of these events that we have coming up, the next one is the 4-4-48, which will be on March 8th. This is something that you can check out on our site. You can make a donation. 100% of the money raised goes towards a cause. There are not employees. There's not anything else that is paid out of the donations. 100% goes towards funding youth sports. And also, we work with some organizations that create events and atmospheres for people that are rehabbing through alcohol or drug abuse, such as softball leagues that we partner with as well. So 100% of any donations go towards these causes. If you want to contribute, if you can share that with others, or even if you would like to be a part of the 4448, go check it out at www.leveluplife.co. So that's leveluplife.co, and you can get more information there. Our next event after that will be in April. You can get more information about that on that website. Please go check it out. Share it with others. Make a contribution if you can. And if you would like to, you can participate in the run yourself. It's not set at a location. This is a David Goggins inspired challenge that is being done nationwide. People will be doing it on treadmills. People will be doing it on parks. People will be doing it on hiking trails. If you're into running or you want a serious goal to push you in your level of fitness, check it out. Then get more information on the site. Let others know that you're going to do it. And if you're not running, that's okay. Please help us get the event out there. We put in a lot of work for these things, and it is the year of contributing more to others. That's why I'm starting to promote these events. If you're into that and you want to give back, whether you're running or not, we appreciate your efforts in either running, sharing the information, or a contribution. God bless you. We'll talk to you on the next episode. See you at the top.